Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome back. I'm Rico.
I'm Tony.
And this is Relatively Sound, the channel that is feeding quarters to a pinball game. Today, Tony and I are back with our album for album series, where each week Tony and I give each other an album the other person has not heard before. This last week, after Tony gave me Steely Dan's album,
The Royal
The
Scam.
Royal Scam, I'm really bad at remembering names. It was my turn to give Tony an album. And I wanted to give Tony something like an album from an artist that he hasn't heard before. I didn't want to dip back into my normal well of like the Tragically Hip or Counting Crows or Wilco. So I decided to give Tony an album titled Quitters from singer songwriter Christian Lee Hutson. Um, there's not really a lot to know about this guy when it comes to like history. Um, he is a singer songwriter. He was originally in a band called the Driftwood Singers. He released his first album back in 2013, self release, so no label. Second album in 2014, he was on a small label. And then, really, it seems like his career really started in 2020 during the pandemic when he released his album Beginners on the label Anti. He then released this album, which technically is his fourth album, in 2022. And then he did release one last year, which I've only listened to a couple of times. I need to kind of listen to it more. And yeah, I got into him because I was watching Reactor, who listened to a couple of his songs from this album. A Reactor who's no longer on YouTube, sadly.
Whoa.
Yeah, some people, I doubt people will know him, but his YouTube channel was called For Whatever Reason, and he reacted to like a wide variety. He reacted to like Weird Al songs and Taylor
Okay.
Swift. Um,
Nice.
he loves certain bands that I love, like REM. He loves certain bands that you love, and artists like Elliott Smith. Yeah, so that's kind of where I found out about him. I kind of dived into I dived into this album first, and then I went back to the Beginners album, and this is the one that really I felt like showcased his best like singer songwriting ability. And yeah, I really enjoyed it enough to buy it on vinyl. It was nice to add a new artist to my collection instead of having just albums from my top 10 favorite bands. And yeah, I kind of thought this was be a different album for you. I'm curious to hear what your thoughts are, Tony. If this is an artist now that you're interested in, if you're like, this was okay, but not my jam. If you had some songs you really liked, or if you kind of thought they were all forgettable. I mean, you don't have to go easy on me. If you dislike it, this isn't like one of my top favorite artists. So, I won't get all butthurt, but I am curious what you thought of it.
All right. So for me, I enjoyed the album. This
Okay,
was a cool
nice.
pick. I think it was a good change of pace, like you had mentioned. And what was cool is right now I'm kind of working on some more acoustic songs. And I think this album did a good job of doing the acoustic format while still having a lot of interesting layers on top of it. And like kind of the big thing that I observed that I thought was great was that just about every song on this record had something unique to it that stood out, and it made it easier to kind of identify each song and have their own identity.
Okay, I was worried you thought maybe the songs were all going to sound a little the same.
Well, and that's the thing. Like with Punisher, Punisher is a cool album, but I think something for me is that it's kind of like, and maybe this is just because I haven't heard it enough, or X Y Z. But you could put on any song, and it would probably take me a little bit to remember which one it is. I would probably have to wait till a lyric that makes it memorable, and her lyrics are kind of delivered slower too.
Well,
So
and we should say for the viewers who might not know, Tony's
yes,
talking about Phoebe Bridgers' album Punisher, which was one of the first albums I gave Tony on this channel. It's interesting. Why are you bringing up Punisher exactly?
so yeah, we probably should have started with this. But when you gave me this record, I was like, hey, should I like look up who this guy is? Do I know him? And you said that this album was produced by someone I would know. So when I first put on the first song, Strawberry Lemonade, I heard that little opening guitar thing, and I said, "Whoa, Fleetwood Mac, J.K." And then I actually thought, as I hear in the verse, I was like, "Yo, maybe like Ryan Adams or something." I was like, I could see Rico doing that. And then I heard the voice, I heard the backup vocals, and was like, "Oh, okay, Phoebe." and then everything made sense for the rest of the album.
Yeah, she
Um,
did produce. She produced the album before this one, Beginners, and then this album, Quitters. She produced it with Connor Oberst, lead singer of the band Bright Eyes, who also does backing vocals on this album too.
yeah, and I mean, let me just say the production on this record is fantastic. I love it. The acoustic guitars sound great, vocals sound great. I mean, definitely part of that has contributed to being a great, guitarist and vocalist. But it really does sounds awesome. Um, and yeah, so for me, I like that the songs felt. Um, w- I like the songs. I like the songs that they all had their own identity. So I want to say that my not my necessarily my least favorite part of the record, but to me the lyrics were kind of hit or miss.
Oh, interesting.
I thought just about every song just about had at least one great line, which is more than you can say about a lot of records. But I think at its worst for me, they were just a little too hyper specific. It kind of reminded me of kind of like on like Instagram or TikTok, you see some of those people kind of jokingly making those like kind of those pop punk songs with like the super specific lyrics. The one I think about is like where it's like, you asked me if I wanted Diet Coke or Coke Zero. I said I drink whichever one that you don't. Like, you ever seen that clip?
No.
Okay, I'll have to find that one for you. Which isn't a bad thing. It's definitely a style, but for me, I don't know. We'll come back later to that when we get to the John Malkovich one. Uh, but yeah, so let's just kind of go song by song here. I think that'd be good. So the first song, to me, is memorable because of the slide at the end. That slide part and that middle jam section was super cool. I thought this was just going to be like a very acoustic song to kind of start off the record, but they really brought the jam later, which was dope. I love the lyric, "Pain is a way you can move through time and visit people that are gone in your mind." It's funny, you go on Genius and, to just look at the lyrics, and certain ones have annotations. It's never the best lyrics that have annotations, I swear.
Well, because sometimes the best lyrics kind of speak for themselves, you know?
I guess so. I can't remember what's the one they actually gave it to. But, anywho's, yeah, I mean, that felt like a really organic acoustic song with a jam that kind of really transforms by the end of it. So I was just like, wow, that was actually like, it wasn't flashy, but it was really impressive. I'm like, this is a great start to a record.
And before I forget, you were talking about, some of your favorite lines from this song. I think my favorite line on the whole album, for whatever reason, is when he sings stepdad reading Treasure Island to me. I don't know why. It's like it hits like a very nostalgic part of my brain. Not that I have like a really nostalgic memory of reading Treasure Island, even though I did when I was like in elementary school. But I don't know, just like maybe with the music and like the tone of his voice, it's like one of those lines where like you were talking about, it's a little specific and maybe not as relatable to a lot of people as that other line that you brought up, which is definitely more kind of just like, talking about time passing and people that, pass on in your life. The Treasure Island line super specific, but I like those type of lines that they just scratch like a funny part of my brain that I enjoy.
But, bro, we don't even have a stepdad.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The line isn't relatable to me,
I know,
but
I know.
it's like I almost can feel how relatable it is to him when he wrote the line.
That is a super cool way to put it. I like that. Yeah, and then okay, next up, Endangered Birds. This was the Mellotron song, and maybe cello. I didn't really fact check that one.
I could pull up. I can while you're talking about it. Let me because there's not even a Wikipedia page for this album. Let me pull out the liner notes while you talk.
Yeah, so with this one, this is where I was established. Okay, this is going to be an acoustic record. I mean, I guess I should have known that kind of based off Phoebe producing it, but yeah, and I was okay with that. I thought it was a good example of just like a singer-songwriter song that works. I like how he sings along to kind of just like the kind of like the acoustic melody on the low notes, but I thought it was cool that the vocal melody, like you think it's sung low, but then it kind of gets sung high, kind of goes up and down. I'm glad it was an interesting melody.
Mellotron for sure. No, what did you say? Cello? No cello.
It was like a cello or some strings. I guess maybe it was
just literally acoustic guitar and Mellotron on the song.
I guess you can get a lot of sounds out of a Mellotron then.
I guess.
Yeah, and the lyric I really liked on this one is I'm peeking through the bandages to see if I can handle it. And that's from the chorus, right?
Yeah, and I did because I listened to this album last night, and that was a line on that song that stuck out to me too. So I'm glad that we are, I'm curious if there's going to be a line that you like that I don't really like, never really gave too much thought to, or
Yeah,
I'm curious what
interesting.
your least favorite lines are.
Yeah, yeah, I'm trying to focus on the positive here, but if one comes up, that's a little bit,
Yeah,
a little bit too, yeah. Anyways, yeah. So Endangered Birds was cool. It kind of once again it helped establish the tone that this is going to be kind of acoustic, low energy sort of album. And then we get Rubberneckers, identified as the pop song, the Kyoto of the album, if you will. Unfortunately, I did not like it as much as Kyoto.
it's not as good as
Uh,
Kyoto, if I'm being honest too.
Yeah, and I thought there's a lot of good things about it though. I thought there was a really cool bass tone with it. I thought even like the guitar solo had a really cool tone, starting with the vocal melody and then it moves on, which I definitely like that sort of thing, especially for kind of this style of music. Um, my favorite line on this one, the lyrics were like kind of losing me a little bit, but I did like, we've got rubberneckers, broken records. Why don't you get back togethers?
Yeah, that was a cool one.
I thought that was a good one. I can't hate on that.
I also have two when he says "fuck if I know." Like the way it's sung is just so like nonchalant.
Yeah, there is always something kind of funny or I don't know, endearing about just like in such a low energy song, just saying some fuck it type thing. Uh, it's not exclusive to angry yelling at my dad type of music, you know. Now I will say at this point I started thinking about like, so who else does this guy remind me of? And we will get there in a little bit, very soon. But someone it kind of reminds me of is Kevin from BNL, kind of with his vocals, where
Interesting.
he
Like,
kind of has that soft and almost like nerdy kind of sound. Nerdy's not the word. It's not the word, but I don't know the best way
because
to.
that's Ben Folds.
But I don't
But
know. It has
I get
that.
what you're saying. Like, because like with Kevin's voice, Kevin Hearn from Bare Naked Ladies, he does kind of have like, what is your range, Kevin? Because you kind of sing in like one, I feel like zone of his vocal range, and but it always fits. Like it never, like he still has personality in his vocals.
Yeah, a lot of personality. Kevin always just kind of does his thing, and I never have a problem with it.
Yeah, and like
And
there's no song on this album where Christian sounds like even like I think at the end of Strawberry Lemonade when you're hearing like those background yelling.
yeah,
It
real
literally on here,
pushback.
Connor Oberst is credited for yelling. So that wasn't even Christian
Oh,
at the
is
end
that
of.
okay?
Yeah. So I am very curious to like listen to his older albums and see if he does like have any songs where he is like, kind of more yelling or just singing in a slightly more elevated tone.
I will say I never got the impression though that he was limited vocally. I thought he
That's
had a
true,
lot of
yeah.
great performances, and it kind of like some of them I even was like, damn, this seems like a hard song to sing, play and sing too. Um, okay, and then we get to what is overall definitely my favorite music on the record.
Okay, but so you're saying there's another song you like more?
Let's start with the music part.
Okay,
Let's
okay.
start with this. Let's start with this. I think overall this is my favorite music for sitting up with a sick friend. It does the acoustic thing with kind of like the tremolo picking, which I'm a big fan of that. I'd love to see that used more. And which artist introduced me to that? That would be Sir Elliott Smith. And after listening to this, I feel better for when I start to sound similar to Elliott Smith because holy cow, this is an Elliott Smith song.
Would you be
Uh,
surprised that he lists like on Wikipedia the three artists that are ones that he enjoyed as a teenager is Elliott Smith, Bright Eyes, and John Prine.
at least he's honest. No, but no, I'm not saying this as a bad thing. I think as music is, sometimes we have some music that just sounds like other artists. That's fine. And I really enjoyed it because it is kind of like an Elliott Smith song. Really beautiful acoustic playing. I love the melody. Um, this one, the lyrics aren't my favorite. They're way too hyper specific. This is the one where he's like describing like a picture, right?
Yeah.
Like it actually references like that picture of the dogs playing poker.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that one was a little. I don't know. I just the music was so good and the melody that it's fine, but the lyrics weren't really doing anything for me. And I
See,
did not pick a favorite lyric.
I like the lyrics in this. I like well, first of all, going back to the music really quick. I think the bridge is also very Elliott Smith like the chords that he picks for the bridge just has that kind of like where's the song going that sometimes Elliott Smith songs will kind of have. Um, my favorite line is in the third verse where he's singing about reading the palm of someone's hand, but then doing that whole joke thing where you're like, oh, and in your future, I envision you having a swimming pool, and then you spit in their hand. Like, see, I like that weird kind of like it almost doesn't fit the music of the song, but like I don't know, I to me it's better than especially when you see the title of the song. I don't know when I read the title, I'm just kind of like this song's gonna be melodramatic. It's gonna be like the phrase "How to Save a Life," but then it's like not that at all.
I didn't think it was gonna be like that. I thought it was gonna be like a sweet, wholesome song about friendship or something. But yeah, I don't know. It might be my favorite song in general. Just it kind of sucks to say I don't really like the lyrics in my favorite song on this record because there are plenty of good lyrics. But I don't know. It might be my favorite just on a listening experience.
And I'm really glad because I thought first of all I wasn't even going to bring up Elliott Smith at all until you did because I feel like if I did, even especially before you even gave the album a first listen, you'd already go into the album experience with the mindset of like Rico said he sounds like Elliott Smith. Elliott Smith is one of my favorite artists of all time. All I'm going to do now is compare it to him. But I thought, okay, if Tony listens to the album, even if he thinks one song kind of sounds like Elliott Smith, he'll come to that in his own conclusions, and that's cool. So I wasn't going to bring up Elliott Smith's name until you did.
I mean, I don't even know how you could not hear Elliott Smith in some of this.
Yeah, that's on me.
Maybe I'm just
the
Elliott
most.
Smith rotted.
Yeah, you are. You are.
So, okay, next up we get age difference, which I also don't like the lyrics on this one, but I do like the line, I was suicidal before you were ever born, and it was like, I'm your biggest cheerleader, smallest violinist. I thought those were cool lines that I think, I don't know, went with like the song title, Age Difference. I thought that was a cool way to kind of like phrase that.
Well, yeah, that's why I like the lyrics a lot of this song because like you don't know, like the thing I like about this song is like, what is this relationship like? Is it someone who like it's a guy in his in his 40s and this girl's like in her 30s? Because like the older you get, the less an age difference really seems like it matters. But when you phrase it like I was suicidal before you even born, that's like, okay, shit. Like you're talking about how when you met this person, like when you were this age, this other person wasn't even alive yet. Um, which it's just such like a weird kind of like topic that I don't think a lot of singers, songwriters, especially the more famous ones, sing about.
Well, because normally they just do it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like they don't bring attention to the fact. I know there's a lot of lines I like in this song. You already kind of brought it up earlier. I assume you hated the John Malkovich line.
Yeah, that one takes me way out of it. It's just like, and okay, you know what? That it might actually be perfect to the song because I don't get it, and it's purely an age difference thing.
I don't get it either.
Well, then it's really an age difference thing.
Well, no,
is this guy like 40 or something?
I already told you I was not going to age check him, but I guess I will since I'm on his Wikipedia page. It says he's 35.
Okay,
but case in point, I like a lot of these lyrics in the song. I love the first time as an adult that you wish you had been adopted. Like, I think that is such a funny line.
Yeah, that one was pretty funny. You're right.
Watch your family drink the Kool-Aid. Like, oh, that's like a fantastic line. Like, I don't know. I like a lot of the lines in this song. Like, yeah, there's a couple non sequiturs that seem super random, but I don't know. I always like a little guessing in a song. That's why I love like We're Downing because he'll say some shit and I'm like, is this a historical fact? Is this something he made up? Is this fiction? Like, what is he talking about? And this one, I'm sure there must be a movie where John Malkovich is in prison.
I'm over here listening to music. You're over there answering trivia.
Yeah.
But I do have to say this. This song has the most gorgeous moment of music out of all the songs on this record, which is when what I'm guessing is a trumpet comes in and
Yeah,
there's
and
the
it does a
acoustic
little.
run. Time stops for that to happen. I'm like, oh my god.
And who would
I
think to like just have a song of just acoustic guitar and then trumpet as like the only other instrument?
And it works so well. Like once again, like the production really just makes it sound correct. Like having a drenched reverb, like it just it's so beautiful.
It's
And
the
it kind
median
of
across the river of the album,
yeah.
where
Yeah.
it's just piano, vocals, and then trumpet.
I was immediately thinking about meeting across the floor, wherever the hell I thought that song was.
So,
And also too, it kind of reminded me that break kind of reminded me of Tom Waits' cover of Somewhere, because it is one of
okay.
those things where it's
Yeah.
like it's very like kind of like over orchestrated strings throughout, but then you get near the kind of the end of the song, and then just like the sax goes out, it just explodes this beautiful line, and it's just like ooh, does things to me. Yeah, also too, to something I've noticed kind of throughout is I definitely am a fan of how they're using drums for the most part. As in, this one didn't have drums, but some of the other songs on the record, maybe you think they don't have drums, but then halfway through the drums come in.
Yeah.
It's kind of a little small thing, but I think it's really important. I think Elliott Smith does a good job too of that. Like sometimes you think it's just going to be guitar and vocal, but then by the end you actually get a lot more. Okay, next up we have Blank Check here, which let me remind myself here. Yeah, this is the one that had the dope distorted guitar at the end. That is what
Mhm.
makes this one stand out. That and then the electric piano too.
Okay.
This
Yeah, that's a nice touch on the song for sure.
this one starts off with a great line, where I think some of the other ones, like my favorite line, comes in. But I just love beautiful losers, necessary evil. It just seems like it's just like one of those contrasts of like, oh, losers, they're beautiful, and but also like it's like painting the pros and the cons of the yin and the yang, dude.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, I'd also like the line "Fear of heights on the shoulder of a giant." That it was cool. I mean, to me, this song is a little bit more straightforward than the other ones. I really don't have as much to say about it. But I think it's a
Besides that guitar solo at the end.
besides the guitar solo. The guitar solo is dope. It does like a cool chromatic lick, and there's some drum fills too that are pretty active. Which once again, just talking about drums.
My favorite part is just when they finally get to the repeating line of you can do or you don't have to do anything you don't want to do. Like that to me is like the really catchy part of the song.
Yeah, I actually felt kind of that way with skipping ahead a little bit with State Bird. Actually, that I don't think this is working. That was the little earworm for
Yes.
me. That was super simple, not impressive, but very
I
catchy.
think when a song can do a chorus with just like one line repeated over and over, it's really like it's almost like actually impressive. And I will say, there's an album I'm getting into by an artist I've never listened to before
Oh,
that you're gonna. I think eventually. I don't think I unlike other times I've done this in the past. I think I want to sit with the album more before I just give it to you. But there's a song on this album that's the same thing where it's like it's just one line repeated over and over a ton. And if you're reading the lyrics on Genius, you'd think, okay, we're at a chorus at nauseum, your famous phrase. But it's so catchy, and it's the earworm that I just like. I don't care that it's repeated so much. Like it's awesome, and
I mean
I
it's all
agree.
right.
I agree that it was Saper, but we can get back to Saper after because I know we did jump ahead.
I do agree with you. Like I love the Police, the band, and most of their songs have way too much chorus at the end. But sometimes you just like it. Sometimes you just
Yeah.
like it. And honestly, I'm looking at my notes here, and I mean, I feel like for Blank Check and for Cherry and for State Bird, like I think these are all solid songs. I don't really have as much to say about them that I haven't really kind of like
I will
talked
say,
about
hot
in the other
take:
songs.
Cherry is my by far my least favorite on the album.
Well, I really liked one of the lines here at the start. Didn't know you lost the cherry until it burned your leg. That is relatable. Probably not for you, but that is one that is relatable.
Okay, so
Um,
maybe I don't like that line because I thought it meant something else. What is that line supposed to mean?
Jesus Christ! I know. I'm glad you didn't use that for the opening line. If you thought, if you thought that's what it was. Yo, so like when you're like smoking weed or whatever, right? The part that's
Yeah.
burning is like the cherry.
Oh, okay. I
So
had okay,
yeah,
yeah.
so imagine you're like I don't even want to think about the other implications you're implying. That is crazy. Yeah, but sometimes you'll be smoking with people and you won't pay attention, and then you're like, "Ow, what the fuck?" And it's on your leg, and that shit hurts. I also
Okay.
like the when you jerk the wheel, we almost died. Because being on the receiving end and the delivering end, you truly feel like you are gonna die. Um,
But going really quick, since we're kind of you're grouping these songs together.
I
Speaking of
am.
smoking, I'm sure you like the line in Statebird too, right?
What was the line? What was the line? Let
When
me pull
life
it up.
gives you a lemon, cut a hole in it,
Oh,
smoke
smoke
some resin.
resin. Okay, that one I was like, okay, this is kind of a stretch. This one's
What?
pushing it. This one's
I
pushing
actually,
it.
my favorite line is just the opening line. The Are they siblings? Are they dating? It's a game we're playing at a festival in Kentucky. You say they are definitely fucking.
I wanted to dislike that little beginning. I wanted to dislike it, and I wanted to bring it up, and I'm like, no, I can't bring that up. That's a good one.
But no, it is a good line.
That one felt actually more extra. It felt extra Phoebe
Because there
Bridgers.
is an actual like game like on there's a website where it shows you a picture taken of two people together and you have to guess if they're siblings or if they're a couple.
I will say, I do think it's weird how there's a lot of people who are in romantic relationships with people that look like themselves.
Yeah.
I think that is a. I'm not gonna say it's fascinating because I don't I don't know if I would go that far, but I think it's kind of whack. Um,
Statebird is
but
one of my favorite songs on the album though. I love Statebird.
yeah, it was kind of cool. They had the one that kind of stands this one out was the voicemail, the woman talking on there. I'm not exactly sure what the.
Yeah, you can't I don't think you can hear it enough like to actually hear what is being said, but yeah, you hear it. I think it's like two like right after the first chorus, like it's like right before this the second verse, which is a
It's
interesting way.
introduced pretty early, yeah,
Yeah.
and at the end too. Yeah, and then okay, then we get to what is probably the objectively the most interesting from like a kind of musical complexity point, Teddy's song, which sounds it sounds kind of baroque at first. Actually, wait, I take that back. I was thinking more of Black Cat being the
Yeah, I
most
was gonna
interesting.
say I was
My
like
bad,
bro,
my
that's
bad.
not how I would describe
Well,
Teddy's
let's go
song.
back to Black Cat. Let's go Black Cat first.
Okay.
That one was definitely a standout in that it was a bit more interesting, less catchy, but I think it was kind of needed for this record. I'd rather have something that's a little bit more of a stimulating, challenging listen, even if it isn't. I think you can accomplish that while having it be very palatable, such as sitting up with a sick friend.
I
But this
I
one was interesting.
I think Black Cat is like if Josh Homme was to write an Elliott Smith style song.
Whoa.
Because it's a little bit more like gothic than Elliott Smith. Because especially what the Queens of the Stone Age have been doing on this last tour, where they did the Catacombs performance. They've been performing some of like their darker songs with like strings on this last tour, doing like a lot of songs from like Clockwork and stuff, the darker kind of songs. So I don't know. That's the vibe this song gives me.
Yeah, like it's all right. It definitely does feel kind of haunting. I see what you're saying. It actually like with how fast the chords move, it actually makes me kind of think of the Zombies a little bit.
Oh,
Um,
interesting.
but the coolest part though is right before the crashes come in, and you get the drums, which I'm not really a huge fan of the drums on the ending. Actually, that's kind of a nitpick. But there's a super cool like swell on the vocals where it gets kind of phasery just for like 1 second, and I kind of wish they milked that a little bit more because that was dope.
Yeah.
That was dope. Um,
Do you want to go back to Teddy's song?
you know, no, I think
Teddy,
it's all right.
Teddy,
Well,
Teddy's song is good, but it's not one of my favorites on the album.
my biggest critique is the slide is way too damn distracting. Like on Strawberry and Lemonade, the slide was definitely tasteful, and it didn't come until I think like halfway through, and it definitely got chaotic with the part, but it like fit really well, and it was like a highlight. But I think with Teddy's song, like the slide comes in too early. Um,
I'm I don't know. The more I'm listening to music with slide, the more I'm enjoying it. So I'm actually becoming very like
Tolerant.
well, no, because I never disliked it. I just never like I don't know. Like I think
No,
I've heard
I
it
like
in like
slide too.
cheesy, corny like country songs, and when I'm hearing it more in like alternative country rock songs, the more I'm enjoying it. Like again, the new artist that I'm getting into that I won't say yet, but like even like Uncle Tupelo, which was the band that Jeff Tweedy was in before Wilco. They were like an alternative country indie folk country rock band and some great slide work in those songs.
No, I mean I like slide guitar for sure in classic rock context, in songwriter context, pedal steel and stuff. It just I don't know this one. It just felt too all over the place. I do want to say about that one, I did like the line, "You talk all the time, but somehow say nothing." Because
Yeah, that was.
goddamn, do we know someone like that? And you're thinking, goddamn, Tony, I know you like that.
Well,
So
first I thought you were saying that you and I like knew a person like that. Like I thought you were referencing a specific person in our lives, and I was
no,
like,
everyone knows someone
oh,
like
okay.
that.
I was like,
And
no
then
one
you're like,
comes
the
to mind
person I
right
know is the
away.
person I'm talking to right
Okay,
now.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah. So okay. Creature feature was one that didn't. That might be my least favorite.
Oh, I think that's a better version of Rubberneckers, where it's a little poppier. It's supposed to be a little bit more of a pick me up, like tempo wise. It has like kind of the indie rock drums, like
Yeah, I mean, I like the drum loop and stuff, but the song's just too repetitive and it doesn't really do a lot. It's not that colorful. At
I guess
least
compared to the other
Rubberneckers is
songs. Yeah.
is more interesting. It's a little bit more active, but I don't know. Creature feature just wasn't doing it for me.
Oh, okay. Well, that'll
And
probably be our biggest disagreement because I like some of these lines: playing Nintendo, floating paper lanterns past your window.
see, I'm not a Nintendo guy. I'm a PlayStation guy, bro.
Oh my god, you could there's love for all consoles except Xbox. We all know this.
What the fuck? What's wrong with you, bro?
Fuck
Bro,
you.
bro, just okay. All right, bro's ever played GTA 5. Okay. So, okay. Every time Creature Feature comes on, I'm like, oh, this is the song that I don't really like, but I do like. And that's okay. The reason I say that is because I always think OC Demon comes first. Like, I always get those two confused. Like, whenever I'm expecting OC Demon as Creature Feature, whenever I'm expecting OC. I'm stumbling. I'm confusing myself just talking about it.
Bro, I think you have OCD.
Apparently, okay. I thought OC Demon was a cool song though. The lyrics stood out in that it felt like a very specific scenario of like I don't know if it's like a therapist or just like a different party addressing I guess this case what Christian is the guy's name, so they call him
Yeah.
Chris. About OCD, and I know in I think Age Difference he mentions having OCD
Yeah.
if you're taking it autobiographically. So I thought that was cool. Definitely the first time I heard it when I wasn't like hyper focusing on the lyrics, it was so happy sounding when he was like saying, "All my thoughts are illegal. I'm not safe around people. I have always been evil." I was like, "What the fuck is happening?" Which is funny. And this one definitely felt very much like the Kevin Hearn vocal performance.
Yeah.
He's just kind of singing it kind of humbly.
I
Uh,
will actually agree with you there. Now that I'm listening to it with that mindset of it sounds like Kevin Hearn, and actually 100% sounds like Kevin Hearn.
right, doesn't it?
I was gonna
Uh,
say it sounds like if Elliott Smith wrote a happy sounding song, but with not happy lyrics. But no, it sounds like if Kevin Smith tried to write an Elliott Smith song.
did you say Kevin Smith?
Not Kevin Smith, Kevin Hearn. You know what I mean? Not the movie director.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, I thought it was an interesting song. I thought it was a nice little pick me up before the end. And I do like the descending vocal harmony on the chorus. That's a nice little chromatic Elliott Smith type thing. Obviously not exclusive to him, but that's where I
Yeah.
hear it a lot in the music that I know. Yeah, and then I really don't have much to say about the closer. I like the idea. I had no idea it was supposed to be about an ice skater who gets injured. I don't think the lyrics really made that very clear.
Yeah, except for the title of the song, which is like a very popular skating move.
That was just like bro's just working on his cards. Bro's just the Bruce Springsteen or something.
Bro's never seen I, Tonya in his life.
What is that the movie where like Will Ferrell does like the crazy
No,
ice
we're
skating
done with
move?
this. We're done with this
Okay.
conversation. Getting back to the song Triple Axel, I actually really like this. First, I think it's a great palette cleanser, even though it's the last song on the album, so you don't need one. But like in the sense that it's the only piano led song on the album. It's piano ballad. I'm pretty sure it's just literally him. There is a synth, I guess, on the song, but it's so quiet that it doesn't distract from just the simple, you know, songwriting of the actual song. I actually like that it only has like 3 sets of lyrics. And did you notice the callback in the song?
Did I notice the callback? Trick question. There was no callback.
No, literally the
Damn.
last line in Triple Axel is "There's a consolation prize in the corner of my mind," which
Oh,
was
Rubberneckers.
no very first song. So we're
Oh,
full
okay.
circle because it's one of the last lines that he sings and repeats at the end of Strawberry Lemonade.
Okay, that's okay. I didn't realize that. That was cool. Thanks for pointing that out. Um, yeah, I like the piano on it. This song doesn't really have a huge impact for me emotionally, just because I mean the lyrics. I guess I'm not an ice skater.
It's
I don't
not, I
know.
guess it's not the lyrics that makes the impact for me for the song. It's more like just the piano melody
Yeah,
and like the way he sings it. And I don't know, it reminds me of a song that you would listen to on a like at like 4:30 p.m. on a day in between Christmas and New Year's Eve, where it's like you're kind of out of the holiday season, but it's like, dark by like 4 o'clock and you're like walking around. Like, I don't know why I envision that like imagery when I listen to this song, but
you
I
must
don't know.
love Hallmark movies.
Well, because there's that line in Age Difference where he's like singing about being home for the holidays. And like, I don't know, like I almost have this song and that song kind of tied together for some odd reason.
Interesting.
Um,
Well, I do think it's a very moody song. I do think it's pretty. I do enjoy it. And
and it's
when I was
short.
saying I'm not emotionally tied to it, that's not a bad thing at all. There's no
Yeah.
expectation to have to be emotionally tied to
Yeah.
the song. Um,
But it's nice
but
and
yeah,
short.
yeah, it was kind of interesting, I guess, pick for a closer. But I mean, yeah, that's pretty much the album. Yeah, I thought there was a lot of talk about for it within the songs. I like that there's no real frills with the album. The songwriting is very clear and easy to take in, but I did find it a little bit more stimulating than maybe Punisher. Which Punisher, like I said, is a cool record for sure. I actually probably should give it another listen. It's been a while, you know.
All right,
Uh,
guys, it's confirmed Tony's sexist. He
Damn,
only
she produced
likes
the
he
record. God damn it.
he only likes this type of music because it's done by a guy.
Oh my god. Well,
No,
I
but I, I
appreciate.
I I definitely can see why you enjoy this album more than Punisher. Punisher is like this album, but even somehow more niche, if that makes sense. Um, where this album, I think, definitely has a little bit more variety. I don't know if I've never thought about which album I prefer. I mean, I've been listening to Phoebe a couple more years than I've been listening to Christian. And he has more albums than her. She only has two, three, I guess, if you count like four if you count her like two side projects. But like, I don't know. I like both albums for what they are. I think they work well together. I think um her producing this album was like a great fit. But
I
I'm
like
glad you
too
liked it.
that she wasn't backups on every song.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I really enjoy when an artist like features on a song for sure. But I am glad that I felt like by not being on every song, it let him really be him
Yeah.
and really get that personality and intimacy come through.
And someone can fact check me. I want to say he is on a song on Punisher's background vocals, probably for I Know the End.
Well, I know it's not that crazy low vocal on that first song.
No, that was like I think that was like her manager. But yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed the album. I thought I'd give you something that's a little bit of a change, something
It was a
that
good change, much needed. Yeah,
yeah,
I
I thought
enjoyed
it'd be
that.
like a good album because I gave this to you like right around Thanksgiving. This is gonna probably come out like the week or two after Thanksgiving, but I thought it's like a good kind of just album for this time of year. And even though Strawberry Lemonade is kind of a summery song, but the rest of the album to me is kind of like more that chill vibe.
Yeah, I mean, strawberry lemonade ain't watermelon sugar, but
All right, that's how we're gonna end this episode. Um, if you guys watching this have given this album a listen, let us know what you think of it. Definitely not one of the most popular albums we've done on this channel before. So I'm very interested to see if people who watch this episode, if they get curious enough to give this album a listen, let us know where you end up, how you end up enjoying it or not enjoying it. Um, and yeah, we'll be back next week, Tony. I think we'll probably do another album for album. I don't know. We both have a busy schedules right now in our personal
as
lives.
everyone
So
does with the holidays.
I am gonna hopefully have some solo episodes coming out while Tony's busy. Um, some might come out before this episode, might come out after. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, and give us more suggestions if you guys want us to cover any other particular album or topic on this channel. And until then, we hope you take care and you'll be hearing from us soon. Bye bye.